All right, I've been working on my design for my light boxes, and I think I got a pretty good design down. Got it down how I like it. So I'm going to show you how I do my light setup. Okay, so what we need, um, quite a few things initially, just to have your stock built up. But once you buy it, you buy it in bulk, and then you're good. If this is something you want to, make a lot of. So you need your LED. These are the ones I use. They're super bright. They come in a big string, and then you cut off what you need. So we are going to need to do some wiring. It's not too difficult. Um, these come with an adhesive on the back, so they will stick right inside of our box. Next thing you need are these heat shrink little connectors. They've actually got solder in the middle. So you put your two wires in, heat it up, and it solders it for you as well as shrinks it and protects it. Next thing you need, what you're going to splice to, is the female pigtail connector, I guess they call it. This is going to plug in. This is what we plug our power to, or in this case right now I don't have a dimmer switch or a switch, so we're just going to plug the power straight into this. But you can plug a 12 volt DC power adapter straight into it, or plug a dimmer extension or a switch extension, and then you can control it. So that other thing I mentioned was the 12 volt DC power adapter. So you can see that plug matches up nicely with that. All right, and then this is something I designed that's going to help us kind of keep everything neat at the end. It is a whatchamacallit. So we're going to glue this down. It's basically going to hold this in there. And then we're going to snap that on top. And then that way all the wires and stuff are glued and they stay inside the box. They don't move. I don't want to snap it right now because it is, once you snap it, it's hard to get apart. And I got a broken thumb, so I'm not going to mess with it. Some other things you'll need: some wire strippers, heat gun to activate these guys, glue gun. We got two ends of this. So one of these we're going to cut short and put some hot glue on the end just so it doesn't cause any problems. In fact, we can do that right now. So just cut that down towards the bottom. I've already got the hot glue gun heated up. Come on, push. There we go. Just a little dab on the end. That's going to protect those in case anyone goes reaching in there. That's it for the hot glue gun. So that is getting turned off. Okay, I'm not going to cut these apart. They are stuck together, so you need a razor blade to cut them apart. But when you do, they string out like that. But I will still show you the wiring part. So what we need to do is split this wire, and then we're going to strip a little bit off the end. And these things were always way too long, at least for our application. I want to keep it contained inside here, and I don't want this huge wire sticking out. So I'm going to cut this pretty short. I still need enough to work with. You'll see What I mean, we've got to kind of push it all the way through the heat shrink and then twist the wires together and then pull it back through. So need to leave a little bit. And you'll have to be the judge. I mean, if you've got a bigger light box, you might have to leave a little bit more. Now for these particular ones, it confused me at first. I had to do my research. But you got, on this one, you got a white and a white with a red stripe. This one, you got a solid red and then a black with a red stripe. So I was thinking, stripe, stripe. Nope, not how it goes. So your red one goes to the red stripe. The black and red goes to the white one. Now we need to put, give me a sec. Okay, let's grab our heat shrink connectors with the solder. And we're going to start with it going on this one because we've got a little bit more room. Let's give it a twist, just to make it go through easier. Okay, I'm going to push that all the way through. We're going to do the same thing with the other one. Now, I am no electrician, so this is not any advice you should consider coming from an electrician. So now we're going to just twist these guys together pretty well. We're going to solder them, but this will give them a little bit of an extra hold in the middle. So remember, white with the red stripe goes to the red one, and then black with the red stripe goes to the white one. Okay, now this just slides back over. You want to position it so that the solder is sitting right over your, that's where we twisted it together. Make sure the solder is sitting right over that point. On both of them. Now we're going to hit them with the heat gun. And I am going to use just a pair of pliers. This heat gun gets pretty hot, so this is just going to keep my hands out of the way a little bit. Let it warm up. And then you want to just keep moving it around evenly, kind of focus it in the middle. Try not to stray too far from the area you're trying to do. You'll see the ends start shrinking around the wire. It does take a little bit to get a good solid seal in here. Sometimes I'll hit it with a torch as well, just to give it a quick melt right on that solder point. Sorry, I don't know how loud that is right next to the microphone. Okay, let that cool for a sec. And we have lights. So you grab the plug. Make sure I got it wired correctly. Turn them upside down so it doesn't blind you. And voila. So this looks kind of like a mess. Um, I don't want to have this just sitting in here with these wires hanging out on the bottom. So let's turn that off. That is why I designed this doohickey. So this has a bottom part. You can see the shape of this is a polygon. I think that's what it's called. Six-sided. So when I modeled this, I gave it the hole. I did a half, the bottom half first, and then just mirrored it to the top. Added a couple brackets on the side with a little lip, and basically used this piece as a tool with the lip to cut into this. So that's 3D, that's fusion talk with getting a little more advanced. But what this does is clip around this and hold it steady. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, show you how it clips. Okay, and this is printed out of PETG. I printed it in an upright position, so the layer lines are going this way. That way, for this clip, the lines aren't running along the clip. PETG is also a little more flexible, so it does have some flex here. I tried it in PLA, and the clips just kept breaking. I tried the other orientation, it didn't work. So print it upright. There are a couple supports needed for this. You can probably, I can probably throw some angles on here to make it support free. I might do that. But anyways, that locks this thing in there. So this isn't going anywhere. That is not coming undone unless you got some pliers or something. So once that's all done, you know, take it, cut it apart, take the stickers off, stick it. I like to tape down the wires. If they're flopping around when you got the cover on, you got the lights on, you're gonna see some shadows and stuff. So I try to get everything down as flat as I can. And then you need to leave enough room. Okay, so this is that piece now glued in. And you can see I cut these wires pretty short. Now this connection's not going to be hanging. It's not going to be risk being pulled loose. This is super glued in. It is not going anywhere. So I feel much better having this and having the connection. It's a good connection, but it can still pull loose. Now it's not going anywhere. With my box, I have it designed so you got a plug on the back. So if you have it, this one I'm going to print a stand for. I'm working on designing that right now. So you can stand it on a desk, and then your cable would come out the back. Or if you're hanging it on a wall, you can have it come out the side. So in order for you to be able to have that choice and change it when you want, you got to be able to change this easily. So you're going to have your power adapter, and you can either come in through here when you have this cover off, and the cover is easily removable. Come in there. Can't do that with a broken finger. Let's go with my left hand. We'll go ahead and put the cap on for you. Now it's coming out the side. My next thing I'm working on is a plug. It's easy enough. It's just a 12.5mm hole. Just need to print something with a little slot in it to put in there. But you can do it that way, or if you want it to come out the back, so you're going to have it standing on the desk, you can wire it through here and still plug it with my non-broken hand. I can plug it in. I think it's pretty smart. This wiring I got from someone else, his Lightbox, but this is my design. All right. I think that does it. Now, this is Giants. I got a buddy that's a Giants fan, and honestly, I'm just getting into the light boxes. I'm working on how I wanted to do it. If I wanted the thick back and the thin front, just light up the front, or the thin back and a thicker front that'll light up the whole front. And I like having everything contained like this. It looks much better. I'm not a Giants fan. I'm not really a baseball fan in general. That is my team. So this one was one of my earlier designs. I didn't put the hole in the bottom, and I obviously have not done that part yet or taped it down or done anything. This was kind of just experimenting with how to get these clips done right. So you can see I got the clip in there and a notch at the top. So this was a prototype just to make sure the clip worked, and it works great. Thanks for sitting through that.